Well, Hays is the world's largest specialist recruitment agency. We operate in 33 countries around the world, and in the last 12 months alone we placed something like 250,000 people into their next career role. That gives us a real scale and a global coverage to understand what's happening in those professional labour markets day in, day out. We felt by throwing a spotlight on what is actually happening in today's terms would be valuable for businesses, for policymakers worldwide. It's a comprehensive review of the efficiency of professional labour markets in 30 countries around the world. And we worked with Oxford Economics to develop the index, which really gives an indication of the efficiency of how a country's economy can deliver professional talent into the industries within that nation. I think the Hays Global Skills Index, it is important because here in Hays we believe passionately that finding the right person for the right role is good for the individual, it's good for the employer, but it's also the foundation of a strong society. And by showing this data that's happening today in 30 countries around the world, we can start to help businesses, we can start to help governments understand where are their mismatches, where are their inefficiencies in their own labour markets, and maybe prompt them to do something about improving it for the future. There are really two key findings from the report. The first is that the state and the efficiency of a labour market in any particular country is not necessarily driven by the state of the economy in that country at that point in time. Rather, the data suggests through the index that actually the efficiency of the labour market is driven by more structural factors. That said, governments can therefore introduce reforms to improve those structural factors regardless of where they are in the economic cycle. I think the second key finding that the index illustrates this year is that there is a very, very strong link between the efficiency of an educational system and the ability of that economy to produce the talent that nation's industries require both today and for the future, and making sure that business and the educational systems are really in sync to produce sufficient numbers of the right quality graduates in the right areas for future talent. That's a fundamental part of what drives the efficiency in any particular market. I think there are three areas that government and business can work together to strengthen these labour markets and reduce some of these inefficiencies that we see in a number of economies. The first is for government to foster an environment, a business environment of flexibility, so businesses can build the workforces that they need for the future, whether that's through flexible working arrangement, skilled immigration, targeted immigration, for example. The second area is to ensure that the educational systems in an economy are really tuned into delivering what businesses are going to need in the future in terms of sufficient numbers of the right skills. And then the final area is for business itself to look at its own policies in terms of attracting and retaining not just younger staff, but also retaining and retraining older staff within their own workforce. I think that there's a role for all of us to play to improve the efficiency of these markets around the world, to make sure that opportunities are filled with the right resources. That creates more sustainable economic growth. That leads to future opportunities, future job creation for younger generations, and it promotes a more stable, stronger society worldwide.